Hey everyone, welcome to Daily English, your quick and easy way to learn English every day. From useful phrases to fun grammar tips.
The morning sun was soft and golden, touching the quiet water of the lake. The sky was clear, and a gentle wind moved through the tall green trees. It was Sunday, and like every Sunday, Anna came to this lake. She liked this place more than any other. It was calm, peaceful, and full of memories. Anna sat on her favorite wooden bench near the edge of the lake. She held a small book in her hands, but she wasn't really reading. Her eyes were watching the ripples in the water, and her mind was far away. A few children were playing nearby, throwing stones into the lake. Their laughter filled the air. A man walked his dog on the other side. The world seemed happy, but Anna felt a little lonely. She whispered softly, "Will he come today?" Her voice was almost lost in the wind. Anna still remembered the day she met Ryan. It was 1 year ago, right here beside this same lake. She had been sitting quietly, painting the scenery in her notebook. Then a shadow fell across her page, and she looked up. A young man stood there, with a camera hanging from his neck. His smile was bright and friendly. "Sorry, I didn't mean to block your view. I was trying to get the perfect shot of the water." Anna smiled. "It's okay. The lake is beautiful today." He nodded. "Yes, and now it's even better. I'm Ryan, by the way." From that small moment, a friendship began. Ryan was a photographer who traveled from place to place, taking pictures of nature for magazines. He loved sunlight, trees, and lakes. He said he wanted to show the beauty of the world through his camera. Anna was a teacher at the local school. She taught children how to read and write. She loved books and stories, and she liked quiet places. They were very different, yet somehow they understood each other. Every weekend, Ryan came to the lake, and Anna came too. They talked about everything: dreams, work, books, and life. Ryan told stories about the cities he had seen. Anna shared stories from her classroom. When Ryan laughed, his eyes shined like sunlight on water. When Anna smiled, he said her face looked brighter than the morning sky. Slowly, something gentle grew between them, something warm and real. One evening, as the sun was setting, they sat together on the same wooden bench. The orange light made the lake look like gold. Ryan turned to Anna and said, "Anna, one day I will ask you something very important. When I do, promise me you will come to this place." Anna looked at him with surprise. "Something important?" He smiled, but didn't explain. "Just promise me." She laughed softly. "All right, I promise." Ryan took a picture of her that day. He said, "This is my favorite picture ever because you look happy." That was their last picture together, before everything changed. A few days later, Anna told Ryan he had to go to another city for work. It was a great opportunity, a photography project that could help his career. He said it would only be for a few months. Anna smiled and told him to go. She said she would wait. But after he left, things grew quiet. At first, he sent messages every day, then every week, then nothing. Months passed. No calls, no letters, no visits. Anna didn't know what had happened. Sometimes she thought maybe he forgot her. Other times she believed he was just busy. Still, every Sunday she came to the lake. She sat on their bench, waiting. People told her to move on, but she couldn't. The promise felt too strong. She said to herself, "He asked me to come when he had something important to say. Maybe that day will still come." Now it had been 1 full year since the day they met. The sun was bright again, and the same flowers bloomed near the water. Anna sat quietly, her heart heavy but full of hope. Then she heard it. Footsteps on the path behind her. Slow, familiar footsteps. She froze. Her heart started beating fast. "Anna?" That voice. She turned around quickly. It was Ryan. He was standing there, holding his camera just like before. His face was tired, a little older, but his eyes were the same, warm and gentle. For a moment, Anna couldn't speak. Then she whispered, "Ryan? Is it really you?" He nodded. "Yes. I'm sorry it took so long." Anna stood up slowly. "Where were you all this time?" He smiled sadly. "It's a long story, but I never forgot you, Anna. Not even for a day." She felt tears in her eyes. "You said you would come back soon." "I know," he said softly. "Life didn't go the way I planned. But I'm here now. And you kept your promise, didn't you?" Anna nodded. "Every Sunday." Ryan looked at her, his eyes full of something deep and true. "Then maybe today is the day I ask my question." Anna's breath caught. Her hands trembled slightly. Ryan reached into his pocket and took something out. Then he slowly went down on one knee. "Anna," he said, looking up at her, "you have always been the reason I see beauty in the world. I don't want to take pictures without you in them anymore. Will you?"
The wind blew softly across the lake. The water moved in gentle waves, shining under the morning sun. Birds flew over the trees, singing as if they knew something special was happening. Ryan was still kneeling in front of Anna, holding a small box in his hand. His eyes were full of emotion. Anna stood frozen, her heart beating fast. Ryan opened the box. Inside was a simple silver ring. It wasn't big or shiny, but it looked beautiful in the sunlight. "Anna," he said in a low, soft voice, "I have waited a whole year to ask you this question. You are the kindest, most wonderful person I have ever met. You make the world feel warm. Will you marry me?" For a moment, Anna couldn't say anything. The world around her felt still. No sound, no movement. Only Ryan's eyes waiting for her answer. Her lips trembled. "Ryan, after all this time?" He nodded slowly. "Yes, after all this time." Tears filled her eyes. "You left without a word. I thought you'd forgotten me." Ryan looked down. "I know. I hurt you. And I am so sorry, Anna. But there's something you need to know." Anna sat down on the bench, her hands shaking. Ryan sat beside her. The ring box was still open in his hand. He took a deep breath. "When I left for the city, I got a big job offer to work for a travel magazine. It was my dream job. But just 1 week after I arrived, I had an accident." "An accident?" "Yes," he said quietly. "I was taking photos near a mountain road. I slipped and fell. My camera broke, and so did my leg. I couldn't walk for months. I was in the hospital for a long time." Anna's eyes filled with tears. "Oh, Ryan." He continued, "At first, I wanted to tell you. I even wrote letters, but I didn't want you to worry. I thought I'd get better soon and come back with good news, but things got worse before they got better." He paused for a moment. His voice grew softer. "There were days I couldn't move, Anna. I felt useless. I didn't want you to see me like that. I wanted to heal, to stand strong again, before I came back to you." Anna's heart ached. She reached out and held his hand. "You should have told me. I waited and waited. I thought maybe you didn't care anymore." Ryan looked at her, his eyes shining with guilt and love. "Every day in that hospital, I thought about you. The picture of you by the lake, it stayed beside my bed. It reminded me why I had to get better." Anna squeezed his hand. "I wish I had known. I would have come to you." He smiled weakly. "I know you would have, but I wanted to come back standing on my own 2 feet, to ask you this question myself." Ryan took the ring from the box again and held it up. The light sparkled on the small silver band. "Anna," he said softly, "I don't have much. I'm not rich and my life is simple, but I have love. For you, and only you. You were my reason to fight through the pain. You were my hope. So I ask again, will you marry me?" For a moment, Anna looked at him. Her eyes filled with tears, but her lips curved into a trembling smile. She whispered, "Yes, Ryan, I will." Ryan froze for a second, almost as if he couldn't believe what he had heard. "You will?" She nodded, laughing and crying at the same time. "Yes, I waited for you because I believed in us. I knew there was a reason you'd come back." Ryan's face broke into a wide, happy smile. He slid the ring gently onto her finger. It fit perfectly. They both laughed, not because something was funny, but because their hearts felt light again. The sadness of a whole year was gone. Ryan stood up, pulled her into his arms, and whispered, "I'm home now, Anna. I'm not going anywhere again." Anna rested her head on his shoulder. "Then promise me one thing," she said softly. "What's that?" he asked. "No more secrets," she said with a little smile. Ryan nodded. No more secrets. Ever. They sat together on the bench, watching the sunlight dance on the lake. Ryan told her about his time in the hospital, about the people who helped him, and about how he learned to walk again. Anna listened carefully. Sometimes she smiled, sometimes her eyes filled with tears. She realized that love wasn't just about happy days. It was also about waiting, forgiving, and trusting. Ryan looked at her again and said, "You know, the day I met you here, I didn't just find a friend, I found my reason to live better. I took thousands of photos in my life, but you're the only picture I want to keep forever." Anna laughed softly. "You always know how to say the right words." He grinned. "Because you're my favorite story, Anna." For a while, they sat in silence. The sun was high, the world bright and beautiful. Everything around them, the water, the sky, the trees, seemed to whisper the same thing. This is where you belong. Finally, Ryan stood up and said, "Come with me. I want to show you something." Anna looked curiously. "Where?" He smiled mysteriously. "You'll see." He held her hand and they started walking along the lake path. Anna didn't know what he was planning, but she felt excited. Something told her this wasn't just the end of their story. It was the beginning of something new. Anna held Ryan's hand tightly as they walked along the small path beside the lake. The sun was shining softly now, turning everything golden. The trees moved gently with the breeze, and birds flew above them, singing in the clear blue sky. Ryan didn't say where they were going. He only smiled when Anna asked questions. "Ryan," she said, laughing a little, "will you at least tell me what this surprise is?" He shook his head. "If I tell you, it won't be a surprise anymore." She smiled. "You've become mysterious." Ryan laughed. "Maybe a little, but I've had a whole year to think about this moment." They walked for a few more minutes until they reached a small hill behind the lake. Anna had never been there before. The path was narrow, surrounded by wildflowers and tall grass. When they finally reached the top, Anna gasped. Before them was a beautiful open field filled with flowers, yellow, pink, and white, all dancing gently in the wind. In the middle of the field stood a large tree, tall and strong, with wide branches that made a cool shade beneath it. "It's beautiful," Anna said, her eyes shining. Ryan nodded. "This is where I used to come when I needed peace. I found it one day while taking photos. It became my favorite place." He looked at her and smiled. "Now it's ours." Under the tree, Ryan had already set up something: a soft blanket, a small basket, and 2 cups. Anna looked surprised. "You prepared all this?" Ryan nodded proudly. "Yes, I came early this morning. I wanted everything to be ready." Anna sat down on the blanket, laughing. "You really thought of everything." Ryan poured some juice into the cups and handed one to her. "It's not a fancy restaurant, but I thought maybe you'd like a picnic under our tree." Anna smiled warmly. "It's perfect. I like this more than any restaurant." They both sat together, drinking juice and eating sandwiches Ryan had made. They talked about the past year, about her school, his recovery, and the people they had met. At one point, Anna said softly, "When you didn't come back for so long, I stopped painting for a while. It felt empty without you." Ryan looked at her gently. "And I stopped taking photos. Every time I tried to, something was missing. You." Anna smiled sadly. "You know, love is strange. It can make us strong, but it can also make us weak." Ryan nodded. "Yes, but it's the only thing that keeps life beautiful." After a few quiet moments, Ryan reached into his bag and pulled out a small envelope. "I have something for you." Anna opened it slowly. Inside was a photograph. It showed a hospital room with sunlight coming through the window. On the table next to the bed was a picture of her sitting by the lake, smiling. Ryan said softly, "That photo was with me every day. It reminded me that someone out there believed in me. Whenever I felt pain, I looked at you." Anna's eyes filled with tears again. "I can't believe you kept it all this time." Ryan smiled. "It kept me alive. When the nurses saw it, they said, 'She must be someone special.' I told them, 'She's the most special person in the world.'" Anna laughed through her tears. "You always know how to make me cry." Ryan laughed too. "Then my mission is successful." As they sat under the tree, Ryan looked at the open field and said, "You know, I've been thinking about something." Anna turned to him. "What is it?" "I want to start something new here. A place where people can come and take pictures, learn art, and feel peaceful, just like we do now. We can build a small art studio near the lake." Anna's eyes widened. "An art studio?" He nodded. "Yes, you can teach painting, I can teach photography. We can make it a place full of colors, laughter, and dreams." Anna thought for a moment, and a smile spread across her face. "That sounds wonderful, Ryan. A place for love and art?" Ryan's eyes lit up. "Exactly. And we'll call it Promise Lake Studio, because it started with a promise right here." Anna looked around at the trees, the flowers, the water below. Everything felt perfect. "Promise Lake Studio," she repeated softly. "I love that." Ryan reached out and took her hand. "So, we have a new dream, and we'll build it together." Before they left the field, Ryan said, "Wait, I have one more thing." He opened his camera and showed her some photos. There were pictures of the lake, the bench, and the flowers, but one picture made Anna stop and stare. It was a picture of her, taken from the distance, sitting on the bench by the lake. "When did you take this?" she asked. Ryan smiled. "The day I came back. You were sitting there, waiting, just like you promised. I wanted to capture that moment, the moment before I asked you to be my wife." Anna shook her head in surprise. "You're impossible." "Maybe, but I'm your impossible. She laughed and hugged him tightly. "Don't ever disappear again." "I won't," Ryan promised. "This time I'm staying for good." As the sun began to set, they walked back toward the lake. The sky turned orange and pink, and their shadows stretched long on the ground. Anna looked up at Ryan and said, "You know, this day feels like a story, like a dream that finally came true." Ryan smiled. "That's because it is our story." He stopped, looked at the lake, and said, "When I fell in love with you, I thought it would be like taking a beautiful picture, one perfect moment. But now I know love isn't one moment, it's every day we choose to be there for each other." Anna nodded, feeling the truth in his words. Together they sat again on their bench, watching the sun go down. The water reflected the sky, and everything felt quiet and right. Ryan took her hand and whispered, "From this day, no more waiting, only living together." Anna smiled softly. Together. They sat in silence, air filled with peace. It was the same lake, but now it felt different. It felt like home.
The days after Ryan's proposal felt like a dream for Anna. Every morning she woke up with a smile, remembering the words he said. "Will you marry me?" And, "From this day, no more waiting, only living together." Ryan and Anna started spending their days planning for their new dream, Promise Lake Studio. It wasn't just an idea anymore, it was something they wanted to build with their own hands. The first morning they went to see the land near the lake, the air smelled fresh and cool. Birds were flying low, and the water shone like glass. Ryan held Anna's hand and said, "This is where our story began, and this is where our dream will grow." They looked around at the tall grass, the wildflowers, and the trees that surrounded the area. Anna smiled. "It feels perfect." Ryan nodded. "It's quiet and full of light. I can already imagine people painting here, taking photos, laughing, and learning." They sat on a big rock and started making plans. Anna drew ideas in her notebook, small classrooms for painting, a little cafe by the water, and a space for photo exhibitions. Ryan talked about building a wooden deck near the lake, where students could watch the sunset and paint the colors of the evening sky. Anna looked at him and said softly, "You always dream big, Ryan." He smiled. "Dreams are what make us move forward." Weeks passed, and every day brought new challenges and new happiness. Ryan found a local carpenter to help build the wooden structure. Anna helped with painting and decoration. Sometimes they worked from sunrise to sunset, their clothes full of dust and paint, but their hearts full of joy. One day as Anna painted the sign for the entrance, Ryan came up behind her and laughed. "Promise Lake Studio," he read aloud. "It looks beautiful." Anna turned around, her face smudged with a little blue paint. "Don't laugh, I'm not finished yet." Ryan smiled and gently wiped the paint off her cheek with his thumb. "Even your mistakes are beautiful." She rolled her eyes playfully. "You're only saying that because you love me." He grinned. "Exactly." They both laughed, the kind of laughter that comes easily when two hearts are truly happy. But soon they realized that dreams don't come true without difficulties. One afternoon, Ryan received a phone call. When he hung up, his face looked serious. "What happened?" Anna asked quickly. "It's the wood supplier," Ryan said. "He says the price went up. We'll need more money than we planned." Anna frowned. "How much more?" Ryan told her, and it was almost double what they expected. Anna sighed. "That's a lot, Ryan. Maybe we should wait a little." Ryan shook his head. "No, if we wait, the weather will change soon. Rain will make it hard to build." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Anna said, "I have some savings. It's not much, but maybe it will help." Ryan looked at her with concern. "Anna, that's your school fund. She smiled. "It's our dream now. What's the point of saving for later if we can build happiness today?" Ryan's eyes softened. He took her hand and said, "I don't deserve you." She said, with a smile, "Yes, you do. We deserve each other." After 2 months of hard work, the small art studio was ready. The walls were made of wood, painted white with large windows to let the sunlight in. Outside there were flowers planted by the entrance and a path that led to the lake. On the wooden sign, written in bright blue letters, were the words, "Promise Lake Studio." The grand opening day was full of smiles. Children came with their parents to paint. Local artists brought their work to show. Ryan displayed his photos of nature, trees, lakes, skies, and one special picture of Anna sitting by the water. Anna taught her first painting class that morning. She showed the children how to mix colors and paint clouds. The sound of laughter filled the studio. Ryan stood by the door, watching her with pride. When she looked at him, he raised his camera and took a picture. "Smile," he said. She laughed. "You'll never stop taking photos, will you?" He said. "Not when the world looks like this," he said softly. The days went by happily. Promise Lake Studio became a place of color and hope. But one evening, when Ryan was cleaning his camera, he felt a sharp pain in his leg, the same leg that was injured in the accident. He sat down quickly, trying to hide it from Anna. When she walked in, she saw the pain on his face. "Ryan, what's wrong?" He smiled weakly. "It's nothing, just a small pain. It happens sometimes." Anna knelt beside him. "You should rest." Ryan shook his head. "No, there's too much work to do." She touched his hand gently. "Work can wait. Your health can't." He smiled but didn't argue. He knew she was right. Still, he felt afraid. The last time the pain came back, it had been serious. He didn't want to worry Anna again. That night, when she was asleep, Ryan sat by the window looking at the lake. The moonlight touched the water, and everything was quiet. He whispered to himself, "Please, not again." The next morning, Anna found Ryan sitting on the porch, holding his leg and breathing heavily. "Ryan," she cried and ran to him. "We're going to the doctor right now." He tried to stop her, but she didn't listen. She called a friend with a car, and together they took him to the hospital in town. After the checkup, the doctor said, "You've been working too hard. The muscles in your leg need rest. No walking for at least 2 weeks." Anna nodded quickly. "He'll rest. I'll make sure of it." Ryan looked worried. "But the studio—" She cut him off. "The studio will wait. You are more important than any building." That night, Anna stayed by his side, just as he had once waited for her by the lake. She whispered, "Do you remember what you told me? No more secrets." Ryan smiled tiredly. "Yes, I remember." "Then no more hiding pain from me," she said. He nodded. "I promise." They both smiled softly. Outside the window, the moon shone on the lake. It was the same lake where everything began, their first meeting, their promise, their love. And now, it was the lake that watched over their new beginning, a love that had learned to wait, to forgive, and to stay strong through every storm. The soft morning light filled the small house near the lake. Anna was making breakfast, eggs, toast, and tea, while Ryan sat by the window, watching the gentle waves move across the water. His leg was still bandaged, and the doctor's words echoed in his mind. "You need complete rest." Ryan hated staying still. He was a man who loved to move, to walk, explore, and take pictures. But now, for 2 weeks, he had to depend on Anna. Anna placed the tray of food in front of him and smiled. "Good morning, sleepyhead." Ryan smiled back. "Good morning, Nurse Anna." She laughed. "You better behave, or Nurse Anna will give you extra medicine." He raised his hands playfully. "I surrender!" They both laughed, but behind Anna's cheerful smile, she was worried. Ryan's leg looked worse that morning. The doctor said it wasn't dangerous, but the pain was returning more often. While Ryan rested, Anna began taking care of everything: the house, the studio, and their students. Every morning she opened Promise Lake Studio, greeted the visitors, and taught art classes. In the afternoon, she returned home to check on Ryan. One evening, when she came home after a long day, Ryan said softly, "You must be tired, Anna. You're doing everything." Anna sat beside him and took his hand. "We made a promise, remember? We do things together, even when one of us can't move." Ryan smiled. "You're stronger than you think. And you," she said, "are more stubborn than I thought." They both laughed again, but this time their laughter was full of love and understanding. A few days later, a postman arrived at their door with a letter. It was addressed to Ryan Parker. Ryan looked surprised. Who could be writing to me now? He opened the envelope and began to read. His face changed, first surprise, then confusion. "What is it?" Anna asked. Ryan handed her the letter. "It's from Global Lens magazine. They want me to work with them again. They saw my new photos online." Anna read the letter carefully. It said that the magazine wanted to send Ryan to Europe for 6 months. It was a big opportunity, one that could make his photography world famous. Anna looked up slowly. "That's wonderful news, Ryan." But her voice didn't sound happy. It sounded quiet, unsure. Ryan shook his head. "I can't go." "Why not?" she asked softly. He looked at her with serious eyes. "Because my life is here now, with you, with the studio. I don't want to leave again." Anna placed her hand on his. "Ryan, listen. This is your dream. You've worked for it your whole life." "But I promised you—" She interrupted gently. "Yes, but I also promised you that we would support each other's dreams. Don't throw this away because of me." Ryan sighed deeply. "I don't know, Anna. Last time I left, I lost a whole year with you. I don't want to lose another moment." Anna smiled sadly. "You won't lose me this time. I'll be right here, waiting, just like before. But now, I'll be waiting with a heart full of trust, not sadness." That night, neither of them could sleep. Ryan lay awake thinking about everything. He wanted to make Anna proud, to show the world his art, but he was afraid of leaving her again. Anna, in the next room, looked out the window at the quiet lake, and she whispered, "Love doesn't stop us from flying. It helps us fly higher." The next morning she found Ryan sitting outside, holding his camera. "Couldn't sleep?" she asked. He shook his head. "No. I was thinking about everything." Anna sat beside him. "Ryan, when I fell in love with you, I fell in love with your heart, the heart that sees beauty everywhere. That's your gift. You shouldn't hide it. Go. Take your camera, take your dreams, and show the world what you see." Ryan turned to her slowly. "And what about you?" She smiled gently. "I'll be right here, teaching my students, keeping our studio alive. When you come back, Promise Lake will be waiting for you, and so will I." A week later, Ryan's leg was much better. The doctor said he could travel, but only if he was careful. Anna helped him pack his camera, clothes, and the photo of them by the lake. When the day came, the sky was full of clouds. The air smelled like rain. Ryan stood by the lake, holding Anna's hands. "I'll write to you every week," he said softly. "And I'll write back," she said with a small smile. Ryan looked at her for a long moment. "You're sure about this?" Anna nodded. "Yes. Go chase your dream. Just promise me you'll come back." Ryan smiled, his eyes full of emotion. "I promise." Then he kissed her forehead and whispered, "You are my home, Anna, no matter where I go." She whispered back, "And you
are my heart. When Ryan's bus disappeared down the road, Anna stood by the lake for a long time. The rain began to fall softly, and she didn't move. A single tear rolled down her cheek, but she smiled through it. "Go make the world see what I already know," she whispered. Days passed, then weeks. Anna kept herself busy at the studio. Children came to paint. Adults came to relax. The place was alive with laughter and color. Every evening she sat on their bench by the lake and read Ryan's letters. He wrote about the cities he saw, the people he met, the beautiful places he photographed. But every letter ended with the same words. "No view is more beautiful than you, Anna. I'll be home soon." And Anna always replied, "Promise Lake misses you. I do too." One afternoon, 3 months later, Anna was cleaning the studio when her phone rang. It was a number she didn't know. "Hello?" she said. There was silence on the other side. Then a man's voice said, "Is this Anna Reed?" "Yes, who is this?" "This is from Global Lens magazine. I'm sorry to inform you that there's been an incident involving Ryan Parker." Anna felt her heart stop. "What kind of incident?" she whispered. The man continued, "He was in an accident while traveling for a photo shoot. We're trying to get more details. We'll contact you as soon as we know more." The phone fell from Anna's hand. The world suddenly felt silent, cold, and far away.
The world seemed to stop for Anna. The phone slipped from her hand and landed softly on the wooden floor. She stared at it, unable to move. Ryan, accident. Those words echoed again and again in her mind like a storm. The wind outside began to rise. The trees near the lake moved wildly. It was as if the whole world was crying with her. She ran to the window and whispered, "Please, no, not Ryan." That night was the longest night of her life. Anna sat by the phone, waiting. Every few minutes she checked her messages, hoping for another call, hoping for a miracle. The rain kept falling outside, tapping softly against the glass. She remembered all the times Ryan had stood at that window, taking pictures of the rain. He used to say, "Every drop tells a story." Now she whispered, "Then let one drop tell me you're okay." Hours passed. She finally fell asleep on the couch, still holding her phone in her hand. Early the next morning, her phone rang again. Her heart jumped. She answered quickly, "Hello? Ryan?" A calm voice replied, "Miss Reed, this is the hospital in Paris. Mr. Ryan Parker was found injured after a road accident. He's alive, but unconscious. We're doing everything we can." Anna covered her mouth and began to cry, tears of fear, but also relief. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for saving him." The nurse continued, "He will need someone close to him. Do you wish to come?" "Yes," Anna said firmly. "I'm coming right now." Within hours, Anna was on a plane to Paris. She had never been out of the country before. The whole flight she looked out the window, her heart full of memories. The lake, their first meeting, his proposal, his promise. She held one of his letters tightly in her hand. It was the last one he had sent before the accident. It read, "Anna, I've seen so many beautiful places, but I've learned that beauty means nothing if you can't share it with the one you love. I'll finish my last assignment and come home to you. Wait for me by the lake, like always." Anna pressed the letter to her heart. "I'm coming, Ryan. Just hold on." The smell of medicine filled the air. Machines beeped softly. Nurses moved quietly down the hall. Anna found Ryan's room. She stopped outside the door and took a deep breath before entering. Inside, Ryan lay on the bed, pale and still, with his eyes closed. His arm was in a cast, and there were small bandages on his face. But his heart monitor showed a steady rhythm. He was alive. Anna walked slowly to his side, holding his hand. "Ryan," she whispered, "it's me. I'm here." His hand felt warm in hers. She sat down and brushed the hair from his forehead. "You promised you'd come back," she said softly, "and you did. So now it's my turn to keep my promise. I'll never leave you." The next few days were hard. Ryan didn't wake up, but the doctors said his condition was improving. Anna stayed by his side every day, reading his favorite books, playing gentle music, and talking to him as if he could hear her. Sometimes she told him stories from home, about the children in her class, about the studio, about the sunsets at Promise Lake. One evening, while she was reading aloud, she felt a small movement in his fingers. She froze. Then she heard a soft sound, his voice, weak and broken. "Anna?" Tears filled her eyes. "Ryan! Yes, I'm here. You're safe." He opened his eyes slowly, blinking in the bright light. "You came all the way here?" "Of course," she said, smiling through tears. "You didn't think I'd break my promise, did you?" He smiled faintly. "Never. You always keep your promises." Ryan stayed in the hospital for several weeks. Anna helped him walk again, step by step. Every day his strength returned. Every night she sat by the window and prayed with gratitude. One morning the doctor said he could be discharged soon. Ryan turned to Anna with a gentle smile. "Do you know what I want to do first when I get home?" She tilted her head. "What?" He took her hand. "I want to go back to the lake, to the place where it all began." A few months later, when spring returned, so did they. The lake looked just as beautiful as before, calm, peaceful, shining under the sun. Birds flew above the water, singing. Anna and Ryan walked slowly along the familiar path. The wind touched their faces softly, like an old friend saying welcome back. They reached the wooden bench, the same one where Anna had once waited for him. Ryan stopped, looked around, and smiled. "It feels like nothing changed." Anna smiled back, maybe because we never let it. They sat down, holding hands, watching the sunset paint the sky in gold and pink. After a long silence, Ryan turned to her. "Anna?" he said quietly. "Yes?" He reached into his pocket and took out a small box. When he opened it, a beautiful ring sparkled inside, the same one he had brought a year ago before he left. "I wanted to ask you this question so many times, but I think today is the right time." He knelt down on one knee again, his eyes full of love. "Anna Reed, you have waited for me, cared for me, and given me a reason to live again. You are my heart, my home, my promise. Will you marry me?" Anna felt her heart overflow with emotion. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she whispered, "Yes, Ryan, I will. 1,000 times yes." Ryan smiled, stood up, and gently placed the ring on her finger. The birds above seemed to sing louder, and the lake shimmered like it was blessing them. They hugged tightly, both crying, both laughing. As the sun disappeared behind the hills, Ryan whispered, "I once thought love was about finding the right moment. But now I know love is the moment." Anna nodded. "And promises," she said softly, "are not about waiting. They're about believing." He looked into her eyes. "Then let's promise again." Anna smiled. "Forever?" Ryan replied, "Forever and always." And under the fading light of Promise Lake, they sealed their promise with a kiss, the same place where it had all begun.
The lake was silent again, but in that silence, their love spoke louder than any words ever could.
Thanks for watching Daily English. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more quick English lessons every day. See you tomorrow.